Hello and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Let's just start with here we go. So we just start with here we go. Should we? Maybe not. We'll hold back a little bit. Van der Beek is done. He will be a Manchester United player. And I know that we are all over the moon with this news. Each and every single one of us, as Man United fans, is ecstatic about that. So first of all, smash the like button. Rival fans, if you're not annoyed, smash the like button. Rival fans, if you are annoyed, smash the like button. Up next for Man United, so many roads currently pointing towards Thiago. Many media outlets talking about United still wanting to buy another midfield player, a right winger, and somebody else in a defensive position for Man United. That could be Badashila, that could be Sancho, that could also mean Thiago. This could still be an epic transfer window for Manchester United Football Club. We cannot get away from that. We want to delve into that area with a little bit more detail this morning. Who else, what else do you think is going to happen at Manchester United? Rival fans, does that mean you need a reaction? And I am chatting Liverpool fans here specifically. We had gooners who are happy with their window so far phone us yesterday and say, you know what? If Man United pull these deals off, we need to pull our fingers out. Are you thinking and feeling the same thing or what? I want to know right now. Hit the like button. Get your live comments in. You can phone via the Skype lines. They are open. They are ready, and they are waiting for you to bless us with your. I forgot what the word is. Dulcet tones this morning. Make sure you download Flick, by the way. That app is amazing. The Football Terrace community is over there. So make sure you download that and go and check that out. Football predictions, league tables, statistics, and of course, general football chat. Extra account here says, love the things. Okay, cool. Stiz here. Thank you for becoming a member of the Football Terrace. That is from Stiz 1999. We got our first call of the day. This is from, I'm going to try and pronounce it right. I think it's pronounced, I don't know how to pronounce it. Starth, or something like along those lines. Welcome to the show, my friend. Tell us your name. I am struggling to pronounce that, my friend. I'm sorry. And who do you support?
Sarthak, I'm Sarthak.
Sarthak, that's how you pronounce it. Okay, my brother. Who do you support? Sorry.
I support Man United.
Man United. Donny van der Beek confirmed. Yeah. Supposedly Thiago next. What's your thoughts and feelings on this?
I'm very good. For the first time in a while, I want to thank Ed Woodward and Matt Judge for completing this deal. We have to give them credit this time.
I agree. I agree that they deserve absolute credit for landing this deal in the way in which they've done it. Van der Beek's a tremendous talent. What do you think comes next? What is next for Manchester United? Do you think it will be Thiago? Do you think it will be Jadon Sancho? What's your opinion?
I think we should go for Thiago, Sancho, and Badashil. I think Thiago is very cheap for 30 million. We should definitely pursue Thiago. He can play instead of Matic. So we will get a base of Thiago, Pogba and Bruno. And Van de Beek can come on as a sub.
That's a great shout. And I think what's really interesting, and bro, thank you very much for coming on, having your say this morning. We really appreciate it. I think what's really important to remember is, yes, Matic has signed a new deal at the club. But we said this about just over a year ago when the likes of Ashley Young were signing new deals. You have to have a contingency in case you do not land your targets. So as soon as William started to put in some decent performances and Luke Shaw's fitness, barring the end of the season, kind of rectified itself, there was this element of we don't necessarily need Ashley Young anymore. We're able to get rid of him for a nominal fee, but we had him there sign up to a new deal, meaning that we weren't left. Imagine you allowed Ashley Young to go and Williams didn't cut the grade even as a backup player, and you're left with just Luke Shaw. You're in a very weak and vulnerable position. So I think that, Matic, if we sign Thiago, you might find by January, he's no longer around. And I think for me, that's the beauty of what Man United are now trying to achieve as a football club. It's strength in depth beyond anything else. Morning, Tyrone. Thank you for becoming a member yesterday. Sneeze 1995 becoming an official member. Thank you very much. If anybody else wants to become an official member, I'm going to post the link right about now in the comment section. You can click on that and join for as little as 99p. We've got Kaya on the show with us now. Kaya, welcome back, my friend. Thiago supposedly next to Man United after the Van der Beek deal. What are you saying, bro? Hang on, your connection's really poor. Try calling back, my friend. Sorry. His connection's poor wherever he is. He's probably out and about like the majority of people on bank holiday weekend. Let's do some of your live comments here. I want to know what you're all thinking and feeling. One of my members here says, good morning, all. Seems like Man United woke up now, awaiting the Sancho deal. Thiago would be another excellent addition and then another solid centre-back for this to be a great summer. I agree. That would be an amazing summer. Hello, welcome back to the show. Pan, what do you want to say, my friend?
I just want to talk about Van de Beek, and I'm so glad the news broke up day after before that we were in for him, and in just 24 hours you got the deal done. But I think it's more down to what Van der Sar did. I mean, I think he helped the deal to accelerate, and then we got the deal done quickly.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm not saying we cannot do deals quickly, but we have seen in the past how we take 2-3 weeks in negotiating for a deal, and Fabrizio clearly stated that there were no negotiations for this deal. We just submitted a bid, and it was accepted.
So I think what you've got to take into consideration, Pan, thank you very much for coming on and having your say. I think what you've got to take into consideration with the way Man United handled this is that Ollie and Edwin van der Sar were talking to each other behind the scenes. So there were this is semantics. There was no official negotiation, but there was a conversation. There's a quote that's been taken from, I think, the Times today, where this is the actual wording. Solskjaer himself has blown the player away with his charm offensive and vision of the club, enticing the Ajax star to a move to Manchester United. He then had the conversation with Van der Sar. They worked out what would be an acceptable bid, an acceptable price for the player, and they got the deal done. So from my point of view, like I've always said before, and I've said this on many occasions, lots of transfers are negotiated and lots of suggestions of bids go in, but half the time they're not official. But there we go. Kai's back with us now. Kai, the Chelsea fan. Van der Beek is a Man United. Morning, mate. Van der Beek is a Man United player. Maybe Thiago next. What you saying, bro?
I'm saying, first of all, about Thiago. Please get him so Liverpool fans can cry more. Rolling on a budget, you know what I mean?
Bro, listen, I'm with you on that. One of the biggest reasons that I want it to happen is because simply because it would be funny. And I'm not even trying to be salty about it. It would be legitimately funny for Man United to take him away from Liverpool just for the outcry. It's unlikely, but I want to go for this. There's a tweet this morning put out by the United Link that was then quote tweeted by Christian Falk as being, and he said true, right? So this is what they said. He said the media was solely focused on Liverpool's interest in Thiago. He said FC Bayern, which is Christian Falk, mentioned Man United's interest early on. So he mentioned this weeks ago. We did a video on it weeks ago and it was scoffed at. He says if Liverpool aren't going to pay what Bayern want, another club could obviously come into the picture. Thiago is a no-brainer at 30 million. And I think that's the point around this. I think Man United are looking at it as an option. They know the player primarily wants to join Liverpool. But as we've seen many times in football, we saw it happen with Thiago Silva. We saw it happen a few years ago famously with Thomas Lemar. We see it also happen with Lukaku's move. He was meant to go to Chelsea. Chelsea stopped the charm offensive. They didn't get the bid in. They stopped talking to the player, thinking that, well, we've got him sorted. And then Man United came in and changed his mind. In fact, this happened again very famously in the early 90s when Man United and Fergie thought they'd secured Paul Gascoigne. Man United went away and said, his hours is done. We'll sort it out when we get back from our summer holidays. And in that time, Spurs came in and took him away. So this isn't new. Anybody that thinks Man United hijacking this deal potentially is a new thing is off their rocker. United have a genuine opportunity here if Liverpool don't come in and put this bid in. And where it would be embarrassing for Liverpool fans is the fact that you've still almost got a free run. Imagine scoffing at 30 million euros for one of the very best midfield players in the world. A Thiago, maybe a year or two younger with a 5-year deal, is an 80, 90, 100 million pound player. And you can pick that quality up for 30 million euros. It's almost embarrassing they don't want to pay it. What do you reckon, Kai?
I think you know what I'm saying about Liverpool. Liverpool are rolling on a budget, an ex-great club.
Don't say that. They're champions, bro. They're champions. But no, but Liverpool they're behaving like a small club. That's the maddest thing. Liverpool are behaving like a small club in the market. I want to ask Liverpool fans, phone the show now on Skype. Just search Football Terrace. Phone us up. Why are you behaving like a small club? I don't mean this with any salt. I don't mean it with any... I'm not even trying to be a rival here. I can't understand why the team that's been the best in the world for 2.5 years, Champions League winners, Premier League winners, breaking records, one of the best teams out there. I can't understand why you are simply not strengthening your squad. It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense to your rivals. We all want to have a good season next year. What we don't want is Liverpool weakening themselves and becoming a shadow of themselves. Why are you not strengthening? Kyle, what's your opinion on that, bro?
My opinion about that, I already said it. I've talked to so many people from the company I work at. They work at the finances department. They told me the same thing. A lot of them are football fans, and they told me Liverpool just simply don't have the financial muscles to do it. The only reason they offered they wanted the government to pay their staff is because they simply couldn't afford it. And I think Liverpool fans need to realize that they only been a big club for 2 years in the last 30. You know what I mean? So they need to know their place. They need to calm down. You know, you won the league, but it's looking like your little 15 minutes of fame is about to run up. You know, and you're gonna go back to 7th, and you're gonna go back to getting Lalanas and other players, and it's just time to wake up. You know what I mean?
Mate, there we go. We're gonna add a few more callers to this line. We're gonna add Jatin. Jatin, what you saying, bro? Who do you support? Jatin, you there? Jatin's not talking to us. We'll go to another caller. Let's add Pav to the call here. Pav, welcome. How are you? Wow. Pav, are you there?
Man is at the beach.
Hello.
Hello, mate. What's on your mind, mate? What do you want to speak about? We're talking about Man United coming in for Thiago, maybe taking him away from Liverpool. Do you think there's a possibility of this? And how embarrassing would it be for Liverpool if it indeed was to happen?
Well, I'm still happy from last night. We're getting a top player in Van der Beek. But if we got Thiago, that'd literally be the cherry on top, because we would have the best midfield going in the Premier League. And I think, like, obviously, Liverpool are trying to drag down the price, but I also know that they couldn't afford half of the fee for the Timo Werner deal. And you're telling me that they're going to fork up 30 million for Thiago. If they wanted Thiago, if they could afford Thiago, they would have had him already. There's no way that Bayern are going to let him go for less than what they want. So there is a chance, but it just depends on if our board and Ollie want to bring in another midfielder. That's like my intake on it.
Yeah, I think you've actually hit the nail on the head. I still make Liverpool favourites. If Liverpool sign him, there isn't going to be an ounce of. There'll be a very small part of me, a little quantum that's a little disappointed because there's an opportunity to get him. But Liverpool are the front runners on this. But you're right in your first point there. If Man United sign Thiago, you add that to Van der Beek, Pogba, Bruno, and with a backup of McTominay, Matic, Fred or one or two of those players. You might find one of them leaves. It's the best. It isn't the best midfield in the Premier League, bro. It's the best midfield in Europe. There isn't a better midfield in Europe as a collective group than those players. You have everything there. You have orchestrators and controllers like Thiago. You have goal scorers. You have muscle. You have energy. You have tenacity. You have speed. You have the vision and the guile and the brilliance of Pogba. You've got do you get where I'm coming from? There is every. If you think about every element of a football player that you need, you have it in our midfield selections. It's like a Swiss Army knife of midfield players, and it would be absolutely out of this world. And I want it to happen. I'm not even going to lie. It's something that I want to happen, or it may not. In your opinion, Pav, as a United fan, where else, beyond Thiago, where else do you think Manchester United need to focus their attention? Because there was a report that came out in the Times last night that Man United need to still want to get a winger, a midfielder, like we've mentioned, and a centre-back. Can you see a Badashila and a Sancho still joining? Do you think that's plausible, or do you think actually it might just be Van der Beek, maybe one other, and that's it? What's your head, Sam, right now?
Like my head saying that Sancho deal has to happen. There's so much gone, like being about. There's so much been said that deal I don't get if it don't happen. And then obviously there's people who are tracking the plane, blah blah blah, saying that it's landed in Germany on the way back yesterday. Like that deal happened.
Yeah.
But then I also have heard like there might be a couple of outgoings. There's the in the know account saying there's paperwork being sorted for Smalling. He's possibly joining another club. It's just down to paperwork. So I do believe that a centre back could possibly come in because we're still short on centre backs. But you know the injury record with Bahi, you know what's happening with Maguire. We're kind of short at the back, and there's a couple of left backs that are available. But I don't think that we should be paying 50 million for that Monaco left back. I'd rather we look at the left back from Sevilla. I don't know how you pronounce his name, Ragulin or something like that.
Regulan.
Yeah,
Well, you've got Regulan. We're also
20.
linked with the lad from Villarreal. I don't know much about him, Torres. I think he's a centre back, maybe. I've loosely looked at these rumours. There are options out there, and I just think.
I mean, there are better value for money in that European market. What some of these Premier League clubs are trying to charge, especially with the English players, that since last night, you know, if we're getting Van der Beek, Grealish, the Grealish rumours, they're gone. I don't think we're going to sign him. There's no chance.
Yeah, I mean, there potentially is. I think you've got to look at it from the point of view of, you know, these. It was always going to take one deal, and I think Ben Chilwell was it. They were going to set the markers. I would be prepared to pay up to £50 million for Jack Grealish. However, if someone said to me right now, there's enough room for two of the three, Sancho, Thiago, Grealish. Those three are your options. You can have two of them. Jack comes bottom of the pile for me. For one reason, he doesn't play the same position as Thiago, but Thiago is better at his job than the Grealish is at his, and vice versa with Sancho. But what you have in Thiago is just a bargain at £27 million. In the same way that, you know, Van der Beek's coming in for £35 million. Yes, there'll be add-ons, but that's if he's successful and we're successful. Imagine you can bring in two of the best midfield players in European football for less than £60 million. When you consider that West Ham want 80 million for Declan Rice, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant business for Man United. We'll delve into a few more of your opinions in a few. Go on, Pav.
Even if we got Thiago, I just want to stick it on Chelsea fans. It still cost us less money for them too than you man pay for Kepa. Just saying, innit?
It's very true.
80 million for Maguire. I can defend better than Maguire.
No. See, listen, the Maguire one don't work, bro, because we improved our defensive outputs by over 40%. So I know you can laugh at the way he looks, you can laugh at what's going on around the world, but Man United defensively, we had more clean sheets than any other team in Europe last year. We conceded nearly over 40% less goals in all competitions. We had over double the level of clean sheets we had in the season before. We went from conceding nearly 18 attempts on goal down to around 9 attempts on goal per game. And part of that was also AWB as well, no doubt about it. But it doesn't, like with real Man United fans, the banner of Maguire doesn't work when we've improved defensively. The issue with Kepa is you dropped nearly £80 million on a goalkeeper, and you've let in, he's got the worst save ratio in English football history. It's peak.
Kepa was actually good before Lampard. I don't know what happened to him under Lampard. But before Lampard, I think he had like the second most clean sheets.
So what you're saying is, you're saying that Lampard's destroyed his career. Well, that's an exclusive. Everyone who's tuning in, smash that like button for us right about now. We are taking calls on Skype. We're going to keep Pav and Kai on the lines with us. Go through some of your comments here. I want to see what some people.
They're so salty. They're so they can't even take jokes anymore. Liverpool fans. They can banter you, but when you banter them, your comments are important. If you want to come and say something, phone up via Skype and have your say. A comment here says, "Please spend all this money, Man United, when we have no fans going and no date for them to get back. So a lot less money coming in. This is good business. Watch United finish third or fourth." I'm not sure if that person's complimenting or criticizing. Harry Day here says, okay, you guys are having a go at each other. I start reading comments sometimes and realize that people are just shouting at each other as opposed to anything else. Danny here says, to be honest, no, I don't want us to get Thiago because he's 29, injury prone and whatnot. What would we need after Van der Beek? A destroyer is what we need to make us have the best midfield.
It's not about injury prone play. You still need some experience. We have one of the youngest squads in the Premier League. And you still need something like the early experience we've really got is Matic.
30 is nothing. 30 is nothing for a club like United and Chelsea.
You need someone like Thiago who's won it. He's won it all, hasn't he? And you need that experience. You need winners in this team.
Listen, I couldn't agree with you boys more. I absolutely agree. But having said that, if we didn't get Thiago and we drop £42 million on Thomas Partey, I would be equally as happy because that's a steal. And that's when I look at Arsenal. Arsenal fans will be equally as furious if they miss out on Thomas Partey and a Man United come in now. Thomas Partey has been willing to sign a deal with Arsenal since May. All he is waiting for is for Arsenal to match his asking price of £42 million, which I think, again, reminds me very much of the Kante deal that Chelsea did. It's a snip. It's an absolute snip for a player. Well, they're just trying to be too thrifty with their money. And the problem is when you try and be that thrifty and you try and be that kind of cute, is you can really end up damaging and costing yourself. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. We're going to add Arjon to the call with us now. Arj, you there, mate? Arjit, are you joining us? Sometimes these calls don't load through when you add them. Here we go. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say?
Hello.
Hello, mate. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Can
Go
you
on.
hear me?
Yes, yeah, perfect. Speak up. What do you want to say?
Yeah. I just wanted to talk about the links to Thiago and Liverpool. I think Liverpool is just going to be witnessing another Werner year right now. I don't think they're going to sign Thiago because if I've been hearing they've been having a difference of £4 million since the 4 weeks now, and if they can't cough up that money, I think United should capitalize on the situation and go for Thiago, because I think what we can do is now we can have a change in systems which we weren't able to have. Like, for example, in Chelsea, we faced in the FA Cup and Ole changed it around a little bit, and we really saw the flaws in our bench and how our squad is lacking. So I think that having Thiago, we can actually against the low blocks, and we can play Van de Beek, and against the teams which are better organized, more compact, like the bigger clubs, we can actually have Matic and a proper second squad like Manchester City. So I think in comparison to Chelsea, I would feel that we are improving in a better way because Chelsea's focus has been more on the attack than ours. So I think we are improving in the right areas, and I think Ole has to be given the credit for this, for really accelerating the deal.
Listen, I agree with you. I mean, big up Edwin van der Sar for helping us. Ollie's done a massive and important job in doing this. What I love about the Thiago deal as well is that if we don't get it, having added Van der Beek, if you don't get Thiago, there isn't a sense of failure to that. Does that make sense? It's like, we've gone and landed a brilliant player as well. It's a bit like if you bring in Van der Beek and you bring in Sancho, I don't feel overly disappointed if we can't get Jack Grealish over the line this year. I almost feel as though I kind of feel like you can get away with that because of what else you've brought into the football club. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we've added, if you are a member of the Football Terrace, we've added a brand new emoji for you this morning. Refresh the stream right now. Available. Hit the refresh button. It's a Van der Beek in a Man United kit emoji. That's been added to our selection as well. We will be adding, when we need to hit another, because you get to add more emojis the more members you've got. When we get another 14 members, we need another 14 to be able to add another emoji. It will be a Kai Havertz in a Chelsea kit emoji. So if you want to sign up now, I'll share the link in the comment section below. You can join for as little as 99p per month, and we can add the additional emoji, and we'll put that in there. We're going to add another caller to the show here. I'm not sure of his name because it's loads of letters and blibs and blobs and whatnot, but some people don't have their names on there. It's just literally loads of numbers, and I never quite know. What's your name, buddy? You've just added to the stream.
Oh, hi there. My name is Delapo.
Delapo, how you doing, my brother? Who do you support?
United supporter.
Lovely, my friend. First of all, I'd love your take on Van der Beek, and then where else you think United need to go out and strengthen over the course of this summer window?
Van der Beek, really happy with Van der Beek. Really good player. I think he gives United multiple options in the centre of midfield, which is what we need. Previously, our bench, obviously, as we know, terrible. But with Van der Beek added to that, I think we've got a lot of options going forward. Just one thing I wanted to note. I remember, I think it must have been about 3 days ago. I think there were reports with Fred leaving United. I actually think that sort of makes sense now. If we've been linked to Thiago now, Van der Beek coming through the door, Fred's position is gonna be limited at United if these signings come through. So to me, all these signings are sort of making sense, sort of day by day. in 3 days ago, I actually think we're going to get Thiago.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think 3 million. I think the report's saying 3 million is what Liverpool are arguing over. I understand they don't have any money, but 3 million isn't really. If they really want him, I don't think 3 million is something to really argue over. So don't really think that's going to happen. To be honest,
No, I hear you on that. And that's why I think Liverpool fans would be frustrated if there was a kind of debate, there was a negotiation, and the deal that they were looking at was an 80-90 million pound deal. You can understand it protruding so much, but I mean, imagine losing out over the sake of £3 million for one of the best midfielders in the world, and then for him to walk into one of your rivals. And I get that what will then happen is you'll get injury this, injury that. If you bring in Thiago in for 27 million and you get him for 30 games across all competitions a year, it's worth it. For that money, it's worth it. Now, if someone said you need to pay £90 million for Thiago, I'd be in an R in because of the injury record. Because if you get where I'm coming from, but I look at it very much along the lines of you get 30 games a season out of him. In those 30 games, he's going to impact your team in a very, very positive way. So, and you break it over, say you did put him on a 3-year deal. £27 million over 3 years. Is that good value for a player that you'd pay for that? In the 30 games he plays, it's going to be more impactful than Pereira, more impactful than Lingard, more impactful than Scott McTominay. So yeah, it's for me, it's an absolute no-brainer to go out and get that deal done. There's no doubt about it.
I've got a question for these Liverpool fans, right? So since like the news broke, we're getting Donny van der Beek, all our rivals, I don't care what club they're from, especially Liverpool fans, they're saying that we're happy to buy someone for 40 million to sit on the bench. But if you got Thiago, you ain't dropping your club captain Henderson. Fabinho's not getting dropped, but you're happy for a 70 million pound player in Naby Keita to sit on the bench. Are you not happy for that? Because you've been throwing all this smoke last night.
Exactly. Listen, I've said this to so many people. Man United rivals were laughing that we're not going to sign anybody. Oli can't attract anyone. We're a dead club. Ha ha. What about the Avengers? All this nonsense to us on this platform. Like, forget what they're saying to anybody else. So, but this is what happens. This is why Man United fans don't twerk for your rivals. I had a wobble on Tuesday, and I instantly by Wednesday I was like, do you know what? I was wrong. Let me just go back to being relaxed. I'm quite open. I commentate on this stuff live, so sometimes you say things that you rectify a few days later. Don't be triggered by them, because we were triggered by them when they were telling us we're signing nobody. Don't now fall into the trap. And I'm not saying you are specifically, Pav. Don't be triggered into like reacting to but just say great. Yeah, just because we've got the money to strengthen our bench and you don't, why are you jealous, bro? Like it's just one of them things to me. If I've got the money to buy, if I've already got a nice BMW, but I've got enough money to go and buy a Mercedes as my second car that sits in my garage that I use when I fancy a change, so what? If I've got the money to do that, so what? If you're only going to moan about it, if you're jealous, it's my life. You know, I'm stimulating the economy by having 2 cars, paying the insurance on 2 cars, paying the road tax on 2 cars. What's it got to do with you? You know, that's just jealousy. Anyone who's, trust me, I'm starting to do it. Everyone watching, tag me in any rival fans' negative comments about Van der Beek, and trust me, I guarantee you, I could search that account and I'll make a video of all the people that have changed their tune on Van der Beek in the space of 24 hours. He is a top-class player, and remember this, Man United fans, he has the ability, when playing well, to kick Bruno and/or Pogba out of the team. He could play instead of them if he is in form. We're not talking about a player of McTominay's level or Pereira's level. We're not even talking about a player of Fred's level. This guy is beyond that. This guy is absolutely sensational. And he had something. Watch the video that we released yesterday. By the way, this video, when I released it, did 8,000 views in 3 months. No one wanted to watch it. It's done 38,000 views since yesterday morning. It's titled The Astonishing Stat that will transform Manchester United. And it's when we were linked with him months ago, Donny van der Beek. The amount of times he touches the ball in the box is ridiculous. He does things that no other midfielder in the Man United team does. He transforms the way we play by his own natural ability. He gives us a brand new, an absolutely brand new kind of take on the midfield area. And I'm so excited to see him.
Do you think he's enough, Terry?
Not when you say enough, elaborate on that, please.
Terry, can I add something?
1 second, please. Go on. You had something first, and then we'll go to the question. Who is it speaking?
Should I? Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
But who is it that's speaking? Sorry, what's your name?
Van de Beek really gives us a, like, remember when we were chasing Muller all the way back in 2013, 2014, and he's really like a Muller type of player. that he goes into the spaces, he creates the spaces. And I saw your video that you posted a few months back, and the number of times he enters the box, I think no other midfielder right now offers us that. And in against the Wolves, against the supposed clubs which are looking to break into the top six, I think Donny Van de Beek really helps us win those matches. And the drop points which we were witnessing on a far more consistent basis in the first half of the season, I think they go away. I think we can see out the games. I think we can be more clinical in the final third with Van de Beek.
I couldn't agree with you more. We've added Kobe to the call. We'll go to Kobe in a minute. Kai, you had a question for us, bro.
Yes. I had. Is it enough for you guys? Like, is Van de Beek enough for you? Will the United fans be happy with only signing him? You know.
Of course not.
No. To be absolutely honest with you, the answer would be no on that. Go on. Let's go to first. Pav, answer that question for us, please, bro. Go on.
No, obviously, it's bolstering our midfield, but there's still a lot of problems across. I'd even say up front. In my opinion, I don't think.
You need a winger. You know,
is the perfect striker. I still think we need another striker. I also believe for years we've been crying out for a proper right winger, and we can clearly see that Lindelof and Maguire don't work. There's a few games it might, but there's a lot of games that it don't. We need cover at the left back because we know if he gets injured, Williams. I don't believe Williams is a left back. He should be playing right back in his natural position. And then at least Wan-Bissaka's got a bit of cover then. But I still think we need about 3 or 4 signings, but I don't think we're going to get them all this season. Maybe Sancho and possibly one more. But I think maybe back in January we can go in for a striker once Igalo goes. But I'm not expecting us to go for a title charge. I just want to see us do better the season coming. But maybe next season get a couple more players. We can mount a title challenge.
It's the same thing with Chelsea for me. I am very happy with the attacking players that we made, but I am not happy with our depth in the wings. You know, since we sold Willian, you could say Havertz came in and he's that Ziyech came in and he's an improvement on Willian. But at the same time, I'm not convinced by this theory that I'm not convinced by Hudson-Odoi. You know. And I know his fanboys are trying to claim that assist to Werner in the friendly, but that was a header that failed. So they need to get over that. But I think Chelsea needs another winger on the left side because Pulisic, as much as I rate him as a player, I think he's very much an injury-prone player, and I think Chelsea needs somebody on the wing in case he's injured. Because I'm not convinced with Odoi. Because if he's out of form, then we basically, there's not much we can do.
Yeah, listen, I feel like so. I agree with what's being said there. United definitely need to add more. I'm going to do a super chat and then we're going to go to Kobe that's joined us. Who me with the super chat says, with a player from the youth at Ajax, you were getting an A-level player, a type A-level, player, not only ability, but professionalism, class, desire, control, and quality. And there's always, yes, you're right. And there's always a risk that it doesn't completely reflect itself in the Premier League. We've seen that happen before. But in terms of the technical ability, if you buy from Ajax, you generally know you're getting a fairly good baller. Kobe's joined us now live on the air. What do you want to say, my friend?
Love from Ghana, first of all.
Lovely, my bro.
Yeah, I'm very happy about the Van de Beek signing, but just like what Pav was saying, I feel like it's not enough. We need at least a left back, a right winger, and another centre back because as he said, Luke Shaw is injury prone and Brandon Williams is not an outright left back. And another centre back will really, really help us a lot because Maguire and Lindelof are not really a good partnership. And Sancho as well, we all know Sancho will help us a lot. So
and I
feel
think
like the Van de Beek is good, but Ed Woodward shouldn't feel like just because United fans are happy, this will be enough for this transfer window. So we definitely need at least 2 or 3 more.
No, I hear that and I understand where you're coming from, and I think more is needed if Man United are going to move themselves onto that next level. The same as Chelsea, and a few other people have mentioned that as well. I don't think there's any kind of doubts about that whatsoever. I wanted to run through these stats. I just sat here and worked them out when you all were talking, and I looked at Van der Beek, and I compared him against United's two best midfielders. So this is where I knew this was a fact. So if you look at the last 5 years of football, and this just gives you an example, Pogba's played more football than all of them. So in the last 5 years, Van der Beek, and I've taken out cup competitions. I've just used Premier League, Champions League. Actually, do you know what I need to do before I actually do this? I didn't add Europa League in for Van der Beek. I actually very disrespectfully forgot that he played in the Europa League as well. I'll go back to that in a few moments' time on that. Kai Havertz Day is supposedly today. Do you think there'll be an announcement around Kai Havertz today? Kai, you're called Kai as well. What do you reckon?
I hope so. I hope so, because he missed the training thing. They had a test at the Bayer Leverkusen, and Bild is reporting that it's because he's going to sign for Chelsea, and he only did the test that he was required to do for the national team. So hopefully, because I'm going crazy every day. I'm refreshing it because both him and Werner is the only two players that I'm most excited about. So hopefully we'll see.
Yeah,
Kai, can I just ask you a question about Chelsea, about your signings? Are you not worried? Are you not worried that, because I guess if you look at least a couple of your players, I think they're going to be duds. Like, I think that's what happens when you sign so many players. Are you not worried that your team
I don't care, man. Like they said in The Lion King, the circle of life. When a better player comes, the second one goes on the bench. That's how you make your bench stronger. That's what I think that you need to do to be a top team. You need to, as you improve your 11, you improve your bench at the same time. And if those players are good enough, they will rise up and they will fight back into the team. If they can't do that, then they should go to another club. You know what I mean?
Do turn out to be a dud. It's not like Chelsea will keep them. But what happened to Morata? Man got sold after a year or so, didn't he? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not like they weren't just replacing the season after. But
what happens?
That's how it is. That's how it should be, man. That's the same thing with Barcelona as well. It's not only a Chelsea thing.
There's always a chance that you're going to sign players that are duds. It happens all the time, and I think that we sometimes overly focus on that. Like if we go through the greatest Premier League managers ever, Wenger, Fergie, Rafa Benitez, Jose. You start throwing these players. I mean, look at Pep. Some people say Pep's the greatest manager of the last 30 years. Some people say that. One of the best of the last 30 years anyway. Look at, since he's been at... People talk about Klopp, and there is this weird myth that all these signings work out. I'm sitting there thinking, do you know what? Just go look at all the players that have joined since he's been there. Some have been brilliant. Others haven't worked out. And it's not always his fault. It isn't always the player's fault. Sometimes it's injuries. But it's not every manager buys duds. Sometimes we think we over-focus on it. I rerun these numbers. It's just for Man United fans about Donny van der Beek. It's done it on paper as well, proper old school, right? So these are over the last 5 years. To put this into context for you, Paul Pogba has touched the ball 400 times in the opponent's box in the last 5 seasons. That's spread across 16,233 minutes, which equates to about 188 games. So he touches the ball in the box 2.2 times per game, as an example. Look at the fact that guys played nearly 5,000 more minutes than Van der Beek. You look at Bruno Fernandes, who is the best goal-scoring midfield player of the last 2.5 years. But in the last 5 years, he's played nearly 12,000 minutes, which equates to 133 games. He has touched the ball in the box 304 times, which equates to 2.2 per game, almost identical numbers to that of Paul Pogba. This is where Donny van der Beek's presence in the box is going to add something different to Man United. Van der Beek has touched the ball in the box nearly 600 times in the same amount of minutes as Bruno Fernandes. Wow. Okay. He's played literally about 30 minutes less than Bruno Fernandes in that time. He touched the ball in the box about 4.7 times. In league matches, it's over 5 times per game. You've got a player that is making these runs into the box, near post and at far post, and drifting into spaces. His presence in there adds something different for Manchester United. And look, he's not a prolific goal scorer. You've seen that. And it isn't always just about scoring goals. It's about what that extra body in the box does. How is that going to support Martial? It's going to make it harder for teams to mark us. It's either going to drag people in, leaving space on the edge of the box for the Pogbas and the Brunos. There's so many elements to this. And I'll quote Liverpool fans on this. Even if he isn't scoring or assisting with these runs, he's going to do what Firmino does for them, which is very important. He's going to create space for others. And that's taken away everything else about Van der Beek that is brilliant. in relation to the fact that he's got a good touch, he can pass, he can shoot when he needs to, he can cross the ball, he can create, he can tackle. He's very good from a defensive point of view. I mean, if you just look here over the last 5 years at him defensively, and look at it per game, 3.3 interceptions per game as an example, 64% of his defensive duels won, 61% of his tackles won, recoveries of the ball over 5 per game. He barely gets booked. The man literally gets booked. 1 in 10 games from midfielder. That's absolutely brilliant. So defensively, he's in a really good. He's strong. He's good at that as well. But it's those runs into the box which I think are gonna take United to that new level. Especially with the fact that we cross the ball into the box, and often it's like got one maybe two players we're aiming at. What I want to see is Van der Beek dart into that far post. You might see Martial running closer to the near post. That gives Rashford and whoever the other winger is on either side time to drift in. You'll have Bruno and Pogba sitting and hovering around the edge of the box, picking up any loose change that comes out. It's going to be really interesting to see that dynamic. And as I said before, those runs into the box, that element of Van der Beek's game remind me of Frank Lampard. Will he score as many goals? Probably not. But that element is why Lampard was so deadly. And I think it's a natural instinct. I think running into the box is a natural instinct for players as opposed to anything else. Having said that, with Van der Beek, over that time period, he has scored 37 goals, which isn't too bad for a midfield player. It's not a bad return. I think we might see that accelerate at Manchester United, though. I think he'll be a player that scores 7 to 10 goals a season across all competitions with the way he plays, the areas he floats into as well. And when you look at his heat maps, it's just the equilibrium that he brings is phenomenal. I can't actually share it because we're not on StreamYard, but it's, you literally, how a 5 looks on a dice? You've got the 5 dots with the one in the middle. That is what his heat map over the last 5 years looks like. In a central area, left, right, and then left, right in the defensive areas. Slightly bigger patch on the attacking right-hand side. But this guy is so balanced. What he brings to Man United is just, it's going to be poetry in motion. It really is. This kid has got absolutely everything we need him to have. And I'm so excited about his potential at the club. We've got a super chat here from Humi, who says, it's difficult to judge when playing like to. I've never even heard of these teams. He says it's hard to compare with the levels of opponents when Ajax sometimes win 7 or 8-0. This is true. But what you can do, Humi, is look at his performances internationally and look at his performances in the Champions League. That gives you a fairer balance of how good a player he is, because he's done it against the big boys in Europe as much as anything else. That tells me that he has those capabilities. Why generally a Champions League proven player will be more from the continent will generally be more expensive than a non-Champions League proven player, because you're going up against the very best teams. That's just, as I say, my opinion on this. But United fans who are on the show with us, do you think that this instinct he has to go into the box will make a big difference to Man United, or do you think it's just it's a nothing and won't really be too significant? What's your opinions?
Well, if I can go first, I mean, with what you just said, it's a bigger difference, because if you look at Fred, you don't really see him bursting into the box, and you don't see him making them passes, killer passes into the box, or dragging out a defender, allowing the space for Rashford or Martial or even Greenwood. Like, that's what he's bringing. So the answer to your question is yes. I think he'll be like a really big improvement, like with all of what you just said. That's what I mean. It's just going to be a better upgrade to Fred, to what he does. At least this guy will run into the box and make chances for us, create that movement. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think as well, obviously sounds obvious, but goals are made in the box, or goals are scored when the ball's in the box. So by having an extra player, sometimes we've seen Martial isolated up top. And so I think just having that extra player, a defender, and that's another defender occupied, that's more space for Martial to score goals. That's more space for Rashford as well. More space for everyone else. And also on top of that, I think Pogba, having someone, maybe Pogba could feel a bit threatened now. He has a player that can actually play, can actually take his position. Hopefully that would mean a better Pogba for the season. And you never know. I don't know. Maybe that's just to kick up the backside Pogba needs, because he's been good after, but not as good as we all know that he can be as well.
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on, you go, mate. Go on.
Okay, I'm Andre from Jamaica, and I just wanted to make the point that the more bodies you have in the box, it's inevitable that it's going to be a positive for the team. So if you have Donny in the box and others in the box, defenders are going to panic, and it's going to lead to something. Even if the strikers don't score that goal, it's a potential own goal, for a defender that's panicking. So I can only see a positive for somebody like Donny coming in, getting additional touches in the box. More bodies in the box, it's better for us.
Yeah, and that's a great breakdown of it. And I think you're right, and I think everybody's right in what they say. It just adds a new dimension. It gives more support to Anthony Martial. I also, again, I never try to. Although I've done a few tactical breakdown videos, I talk about them very much from a fan's point of view. There's this element of, I get people get a little frustrated with Bruno when he is almost the final pass into the attackers on counter attacks. Maybe there's a way of creating a system where actually that person is going to be either be Pogba or Van de Beek in terms of how we set up these breakaways. Because what I say to a lot of people is we work on these in training. You don't just go into a game and go, right, we'll counter attack. There's a set position, say from corners or from defending positions, and it's when we win the ball back, it's A to B to C to goal. And that's worked on. They work on it in training. So my hope is that something's created where maybe Van de Beek, who is a better final passer of the ball than Bruno, is the ball's with him primarily for the final ball. And it won't always work out that way because football isn't an exact binary science. There's always going to be elements. You might not be able to make the pass that you've worked on. You might have to go out to the right instead, and it changes that. But I think you just have a player with the technical ability of him. He can cut through the lines with his passing. There's so many elements about this that could be beautiful. Nick P here of a super chat says, such a logical deal for us to have done. We have a great tradition with Dutch players. He's 23, still so young. People are talking about him as an option player, but I see him making a bigger impact. And I think that's a really fair analysis. A lot of people are saying bench player this, bench player that. Who knows what Ollie's got in the makings here? What we know is this, is you've got Bruno and Pogba that for me are almost guarantees to start. Every other midfield player I'm unsure about. And who knows the way we might look at, I said it yesterday, maybe we won't get Sancho. And if we don't get Sancho, we might go for a diamond. Maybe we go for a diamond attack. Yeah. And it worked very well a few times last season with 3 at the back where we use split forwards. Maybe we say we use a diamond and we have a split forward. Can you imagine that midfield? You use your fullbacks get forward a little bit more. You've got a very strong midfield, which means I'm not worried about the counter-attacks through the middle as such. Your strikers can either switch outside. You can have your runners like your Brunos and your Van der Beek's going through the centre. There are so many options that United could use to utilise these players. For me, if you're a United fan getting triggered because people are saying, where does he play? Let's just wait and see. There are so many options. Rachel with a super chat says, in my opinion, we haven't had a strong, consistent centre-back partnership since Ferdinand and Vidic. You're right. And that partnership hasn't been at its strongest since about 2010, 2011. We've gone nearly a decade without a superb centre-back partnership, which is weird because from the early 90s through till then, so you're talking a 20-year period, we always had that primarily. And I think that's what needs to be addressed as well in the next year or so is somebody for Maguire. Whether people like it or not, Maguire's there to stay. Maguire's there to progress. It's what we put next to him. How can we make that work? There's still a part of me that would like to see Tuanza be given an opportunity to be that guy. Baldy. Yeah, we've offered. Hang on. We just added Ollie to the stream, but Ollie seems to have dropped off. If Oliver comes back, we'll get him on to have his say.
Quickly mention.
Can I?
Yeah, go on, Pav.
So, obviously, where you're talking, it will make the space for other people. There's also, even if, say, we lost the ball and the opposition's counter-attacking, this player has got the pace and the stamina to chase people down and break up the attack, the opposition attack. He's like a shade of Fred and Herrera put together when it comes to chasing people down. I think a lot of people haven't mentioned that, but he is very quick and he's got a lot of stamina. It's why when you're saying you look at a heat map, it looks like a 5 on a dice because he's everywhere. He's literally we haven't had many players like that.
And he can shoot as well too. You know, when
He's
Fred gets the ball and he's trying to take a shot, we all know he will miss. But like with Van de Beek, we all know he can shoot as well. So
No,
it's
that's
not just
true.
about the pass and all that.
Yeah.
So when he gets a chance, you know he can shoot.
Absolutely. We've added Oliver to the stream here. Oliver, who do you support, mate? You've muted yourself, bro. You can unmute yourself. You can chat to us, bro. You're in the chat room. Oliver, you there? No, he's dropped out again.
Terry, how you could use them, you know. You could play Van de Beek a bit deeper and just play both Pogba and Fernandes as attack playmakers, you know.
Again, exactly. That's an option
because
Van der Beek can play in those deep roles and he's effective there. And I think it depends who we're playing, what team, home or away. If it's cup games, you know, Champions League games, is it first leg, second leg? What's going on? There are options again. And when I remember my Man United being at its most beautiful best, it's when we had the ability to change things up. Where, you know, oh, look, you know, we've thrown Park Ji-sung in there today to do this job. Oh, we moved John O'Shea into the midfield. I even remember, and I wish that barring his first 6 months where he was brilliant in the Man United shirt, Phil Jones, the only other times I've enjoyed watching him play is when he used to get put on the man marking jobs. Fergie would be like, listen, today, bruv, that's your role. Now, I'm not saying you're going to put Van der Beek on a man marking role, but Van der Beek has the versatility where we can say, listen, I know you've been playing in a more attacking role these last 4 or 5 games, but we're away at Liverpool today. What I really want from you is I want you all over Firmino. I just want you on Firmino all day. And when you win the ball off him, we want to use your passing technique and ability to thread into the counterattacks very, very quickly into the Greenwoods, the Sanchos, the Rashfords, the Martials. You could utilize him for a job like that for a game. And I think he has the professionalism and discipline to be able to do that job. And that's what's great about him. He is so multifaceted. Oliver's back with us again. Oliver, speak. Come on, Oliver. Don't let us down. I don't get it. Cheers, Oliver. I know literally 5 times he's called and he's literally there and he never speaks. He never says anything. But there we go. People keep saying it's Beek, not Bake. No, trust me. Go look at my replies the other day. A lot of Dutch people have been messaging me. It is Van der Beek. It is. We even had Aaron on the show that speaks about 7 European languages who has confirmed it's pronounced bake, as in bake off, like bake a cake. It's Van der Beek. Please stop saying Van der Beek. Like the Dutch have said, it's Van der Beek.
Say Donny.
Oh, yeah, just say Donny if you're not sure. Oliver's called back again. Let's see if we can get Oliver to speak this time. I'm just intrigued to know what he's got to say. Oliver, can you hear us?
Yo, can you hear me?
Perfect, Oliver. Who do you support and what do you want to say?
Suck your mum, you.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That is weak, bruv. That is weak, Oliver. That is the worst banter ever. And no one's sucking. I'm not sucking my own mum. You know what I mean? I only just finished sucking yours, bro. What are you saying? Jeez. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine thinking that is cool. Like in terms of, that's just weakness, bro. Weakness. But there we go. We'll just block that guy. Guy's done. He's finished forever now. Can't get back on. But oh well. There we go. Little boy, little pathetic man.
Get to bed now, but thank you for having me on.
That's cool. I know, worries, boys. I'm ending the stream there anyway. Thanks everyone who. Thank you for all of you that came on today and had your say. Really means a great deal to us at the Football Terrace. Cheers, boys.
Thanks, man.
Cheers. There we go. We're not going to take any more calls as of today. That guy, he nearly did a good job trolling, but fuck your mum. It's like, come on, man. It's not even good. It's not even a good one. But yeah, it's definitely Donny van der Beek. Well, until somebody who's Dutch tells me different, I'm going to do that. Let's put it into Google how to say. There's all these things that how you can pronounce these things, right? How to pronounce it. Let's see what this says here. If I get this wrong, can you imagine?
Van der Beek.
Listen, this is in Dutch.
Donny van der Beek.
Van der Beek. That's the Dutch version of how to say it in his language. Let's go this one here. This is the Dutch pronunciation.
Donny van der Beek.
Donny van der Beek. That's the Dutch pronunciation. Here's the English pronunciation.
Donny van der Beek.
See, we say Beek, but the Dutch pronunciation, listen.
Donny van der Beek.
Donny van der Beek.
Donny van der Beek.
Beek. There we go. So stop calling him Beek. Because it isn't Beek, it's Beek. It's how it's pronounced. There's an accent on it. There we go. It's been confirmed. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Do me a big favor and smash that like button for us right about now. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.